Hear ye, hear ye. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, who? Okay, let me find the first page of this thing and I'll be good to go.
Get a borrow mine.
No, it's not that.
Oh, okay.
The meeting is now called to order. Thank you, that is what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
First thing is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yeah, I've got an addition. Probably put this on the consent agenda. It's not an action item. Trying to hopefully you understand my work. I'm trying to refire a CDS code.
What's a CES code?
CDS code is like
CDS.
the code that you have for a school. Every school's got a code called CDS code. Okay, so I'm trying to refire a code for Sanhedrin. We used to have a school called New Horizons there. So I'm trying to refire that code to give us potential options in the future to do some things. So I just have to go through a process where they haven't accepted or rejected yet. But I'm in the process of, it has to be, we have to have the board minutes, and I'm just gonna fill it on consent agenda, whatever number that would be.
Number 7.
Number 7, thank you.
Welcome back.
You're welcome.
We missed you. You were so excited.
I told you.
Okay. And?
Only 7 left. Pardon? Only 7 left.
Anything else?
So I need somebody to make a motion to approve the agenda. as
I move that we
amended.
approve the agenda. I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we recess to closed session. Hi, my name's Jennifer Sophie, I'm the board president, and I'm calling the meeting to order. We are reconvening to open session. And oh, it's right there. Like, okay. Mr. Beebe, can you
Yeah.
address what we did in open session, or closed session?
We had 2 items that dealt with staff. The board approved both of them.
Thank you.
So,
And now we'll go ahead with the flag salute.
Yes, and join us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We normally would have a student board representative, which is not here. So we're going to be starting with public comment. Excuse me, hold on 1 second. Under governance norms, it says, we agree to act with dignity, we agree to board ethical standards and behavior, including the governance standards, respect differences, we will respect dissenting opinions in a respectful way that encourages sharing of ideas, experiences, and knowledge, build trust, we look for common ground, maintain confidentiality, and publicly support board decisions. Work as a team. We agree that a working plan of how we do business internally and externally is essential. We will work for the good of the team, not our own interests. Engage the public. We listen to our stakeholders and encourage their input into our decision-making at appropriate times. Focus on the success of every student. The board will keep student success on the forefront of all decisions and work together for the common good. We will communicate about our decisions with honesty and integrity. Just to be clear, we have a lot of people here and some fairly hot items from what I understand. And so each item is limited to 20 minutes of conversation. So we're here about the football coaches, and you're in favor of whatever people are saying, that's fine. We have 20 minutes that you can talk. It comes out 3 minutes apiece, so 6 or 7 people get to talk. And then if there's an opposing side, then we hear those people. There will be no responses from the board. We're here just to hear what you have to say, and everything that you have to say, our superintendent will then take a look at and research and figure out what's going on and what the best possible solution can be. Okay, so, anybody like to address the board?
I'd love to.
Go ahead, up in there and let us know your name.
Yeah, good evening, board members. My name is Colby Forster. I've been a football coach here at the high school for 5 years as a volunteer. I'm here tonight to give my thoughts on the dismissal of Gary Cavender as coach for this upcoming football season. But first, I'd like to give a little background on Gary. Gary has been a career educator for nearly 40 years and a coach and a mentor for just as many. Gary is a man who has given his home and food to nearly 40 foster kids and an advocate for the underprivileged kids. Gary has spent these last 40 years using sports to teach life skills such as self-discipline, hard work, and dedication that will translate to success in the classroom and in the real world. As the coaching staff would say, developing winners for life. This brings me to the issue at hand. Why is the principal not allowing Gary to coach this next season? When the principal was asked this question during a parent meeting, the principal told the group that Gary broke policy and procedure based on 2 separate occasions. It is my understanding the first presumed incident that the principal is referring to occurred 2 seasons ago after a football game. Gary was advocating for 2 students who were told they could no longer play due to poor grades. Come to find out, they did not have poor grades and they could have played. They were eligible. It is my understanding this conversation occurred with the principal and the vice principal shortly after the night game, after most parents and players had left the field. I'm assuming there must have been some sort of corrective interview or form of documentation that was completed about this incident, but since Gary was unaware of this corrective action and had not been taken from the conversation until recently when he found out about it. The second alleged incident was this season after an away game at week 5 of the football season. I was present at the alleged incident. I do not recall the principal or any other administrative staff members attending the post-game conversation with the coaches and the athletes. Since no member of the administration was there, the information that was provided to the principal from the team conversation would be hearsay at best. So, based on that hearsay of the post-game conversation, the principal believed policy and procedures were broken. No thorough investigation of this event must have occurred. I base this conclusion on the fact that the principal nor the administrative staff ever talked directly to Gary Cavender concerning that night's events. Furthermore, when the principal was asked during the meeting last month with the parents, why was Gary allowed to coach all the way through week 14? This is 9 weeks after the event. The principal told the parents the decision was made for the kids. This is confusing to me. If Gary broke policy and procedure that was so unbecoming of a coach that he was not allowed to coach for the rest of that season, why is he not allowed to coach this season?
You have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I encourage you to look into the facts and any documentation that might exist that the principal would have used to make these decisions to not allow Gary Cavender to return as a coach and a mentor. Additionally, I believe Mr. Cavender has not had due process given to him since the decision was made without even talking to the man. I think we owe that to him for his years served to the children and as a mentor. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carrie Silva. I am a parent of one of the boys on the football team. And I just wanted to present maybe insight from...
My apologies,
Sorry.
Ms. Silva. Stop. I'm so sorry, my apologies. Please start again.
It's okay. I am a parent of one of the boys on the football team. And I just wanted to give kind of a parent's insight, I guess, at least from my perspective. And what I see is this coach, Harry, has really created a lot of work ethic and life skills that these boys are carrying over into the rest of their lives. And it's the same sort of thing that I feel like I try to do at home. And during regular season, I think the coaches probably see my son more than I do. So I am happy to see that there's someone kind of advocating and doing the same thing that I would like to see while they're playing sports and playing football while I am not there. And I think that it's skills that we don't get to teach in school. It's, you know, how to communicate effectively and how to deal with arguments and how to support other kids that maybe come from a different background. And I know my son gets this at home, but a lot of those kids I think that are maybe playing, maybe don't have that at home. So it's a really good time for them to have that support and that structure. Additionally, something I feel like really speaks for the program itself is that these kids, they don't play football for, you know, the whole year, but they are involved either working or training or something towards the sport for 9 months out of the year. And then in the off season, they're ready to go back already. I mean, it's spring and football starts in the fall, or technically, you know, the end of the summer, and they're already ready to go. And they're ready to start. And I think that speaks volumes for the program itself. So I kind of feel like Gary may be the Jacob piece that could bring the program crashing down if it's old. So I just hope that you guys can consider what it means to the kids. They've all showed up and spoken for him on his behalf. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Natalie.
I wrote everything down because I go blank. I cannot speak on anyone else's experience with the coaching staff, but from my own experience, they stepped up for my 2 sons when I was abruptly admitted into UCSF for 8 weeks of the season in 2022. During that time, my husband was splitting his time at home with our 2 teenage boys and in San Francisco with me while I was pregnant. My main worry was how my children would survive without their mom and dad there for them 100% of the time. Thankfully, the coaches learned of our predicament and stepped up where we could not. Several coaches gave my sons rides home after practice and made sure they had the extra support that we were not able to give. Every practice Mr. Cavender was at, he would send food and drinks home with my boys, so we wouldn't have to worry about finding someone to get them dinner or spending the extra money that we didn't have for food delivery. They made my feelings as a failure as a mom a lot less with the help they gave us. They took a lot of stress off my shoulders at a time when stress meant life or death for our unborn son. I hope this helps with a little insight on how Coach Cavender, Marati, Forrester, Roundtree, and the Norberries are not just coaches, they are our family.
Thank you very much.
No. Thank you to the board members that responded. Hopefully you all got a chance to read my letter that I emailed you. I also have another note I wanted to share. Have you ever taken the time to watch a Willits High School football practice? Have you ever sat down with the coaches and heard their vision for the program? I posed these questions to the administration and they said they hadn't. They were too busy. Well, we have the people that are here supporting them. We know they are not just shaping the athletic ability of these student athletes, but building the whole character to be outstanding young men. They want to implement a leadership class for the players. They want to set up a adopted teacher program where the kids can mentor a teacher and help out. They encourage community service, giving back to the Willits community. They want to start a club and summer camp for them to help the younger kids in the community. And my favorite as a teacher at Brookside is they want to have the students come to Brookside and do reading groups or help the younger kids in the community. All of these goals have community building at the core. invite you to reconsider your decision and allow this coaching staff to continue to lead the student athletes to further success on and off the field. And maybe Mr. T could let us know, I don't know how many kids are at the high school, so 350?
It's about 400.
About 400. We did another petition, which I had turned over to admin, but we did another petition for you guys to look at, and there are 68 students that are supporting these coaches. So not just the ones here, but there's 68 at the high school. And that's just ones that signed up. That's a pretty good percentage of students that want to see Coach Camber come back.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Good evening, board members and concerned families. My name is Michelle Norbury. I'm the mother and wife of the Norbury coaches. There's been a lot said tonight, but I'd like to address the reason that we should all be here, and that is to advocate for the students. I won't say these coaches are perfect, but those that are may throw the first stone. But I will say, if they have made a mistake, excuse me, or said something, they have apologized for it. How many of us are willing to admit when we have been wrong to our student or child? What a great life lesson for them to see when we said or done something wrong, which will be often for most of us. Seek to make it right and to apologize. These coaches don't coach because they have children on the team. They don't coach for their own self-image. They coach because they have been given a love and a passion for these kids. I know, and you know, these coaches, every one of them, love these kids. They will pour their lives into them, advocate for them, and defend when wrong. Because of the pay? No. Because they have strong convictions to come alongside and teach them life lessons. If that includes football, so be it. So as we sit here and ponder what we have heard, I encourage you to ask yourselves, why are we here? Are we truly here for the students and the student athletes? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who'd like to be next? Anybody outside there that wants to come talk? Hi.
Far from a public speaker.
That's okay.
My name's Brad Coleman. Both my sons played for this whole coaching staff. Throughout the years, I have seen Gary Cavender, even when my boys were in middle school, helping with wrestling in Ukiah. But the man's there for the children. I think he's molding young men more than just student athletes. I mean, this whole coaching staff is great. As far back as I can remember, I haven't seen such success with the high school program. And I've been here since '92, so I know there was one time that we had pretty good success, but the last 20 years anyway. I just feel, actually neither one of my boys will be playing anymore. One is long graduated and the other one is on his way, so I just feel that the rest of these kids deserve to keep this coaching staff together. And that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Luana?
So, I am a current player for the Norbury staff, and I can't tell you how much I owe to we've done, especially track. That's it.
Anybody else? Is there anybody outside that wants to come in, you want to ask?
She's not anybody out there want to speak. That.
It's okay, thank you for asking.
My name is David Coleman. I'm a former player for the coaching staff here. Yeah, this coaching staff is beyond amazing. I can't begin to tell the amazing things they've done for us. It's extremely family oriented. They, from the get-go, when they first started, it was, we are a family, no matter what. They brought together every single person on the team. Like, no matter if you were highly skilled, if not, everyone was family. It was amazing. There's nothing like these coaches. They've been a family to me the whole time through. It was amazing. Nothing like it. I think it would be a shame if the future generations of students weren't able to have them as coaches. So I don't have a whole lot, but yeah, that's what I want to say. And what's up, guys? Thanks.
Anybody else?
Good evening. I haven't planned on speaking, but I was actually a student of Mr. Cavender back in 2006, 2007. And to his character, whether he made a mistake or not, he owns it. I don't know the situation. I'm not involved in the football community in that way, but the character of the man stands for itself, and it should be recognized. And if he did wrong, but he'll own it, and we move forward. Someone else spoke, we all make mistakes. And the man has served the community for many, many years. Willits, where be it, and it's a shame that this is even taking place, that a man's character is being called into question without, from my understanding, a lot of information being disclosed. And so I ask you guys to consider the man and his character and his reputation.
Anybody else?
Anybody want to speak out here? Pretty sure.
Is there anybody that feels differently that wants to speak? Okay, well, I thank you very much. We have all heard what you're saying, and I appreciate the fact that you spent the time to come and talk to us and let us know. It makes it a lot easier to make decisions that way, and it's being turned over to Mr. Beebe, and I understand that he has a meeting with some folks next week, and he'll keep us informed as to what's going on. Thank you very much. We're going to take a 15-minute or 10-minute break at this point, and if you want to stay to hear whatever else is on the meeting agenda, you're welcome to do that, and if you want to go home, have supper, and watch football or baseball or something else.
It's riveting. It's riveting.
Basketball, excuse me,
Which turning and I catch that?
Okay, so. Next on the agenda is CSEA comments. Do you have anybody to speak to?
California. This is the second largest conference that CSEA does. And this year, we got to have members from Berkside, Sherwood, and Bethel Grove go. A combination of paraeducators and representatives from the E-Board, and I was privileged to attend. This conference has been held annually for the last 27 years, but this was the first year that members from Willits got to attend, and we were very excited. It left us attendees equipped with new tools and techniques to take back to our classrooms, as well as new connections and friendship. This is a 3-day intense training conference. There was over 70 different classes that we could choose from, and the wealth of knowledge and speakers was incredible. Every single class I took, every single instructor I had was just absolutely amazing. The classes ranged from understanding how to work with students from traumatic backgrounds, and classes on dealing with compassion fatigue, which I think a lot of us get as educators, to CalPERS basics and CPR training. There are presentations on gender and pronouns, and understanding the evolving digital landscape of our society. One of my favorite classes that I found the most interesting was talking about how climate change is affecting the schools in California. From schools in Southern California having 115-degree weather and not having their students be able to go out on the blacktops, to schools close due to snow, flooding, having students inside due to air pollution from forest fires. All of that is affecting our students. So it was very interesting. The attendees from each side then took this knowledge and did presentations at their sites to share the knowledge. That was our goal, that the representatives would go and then come back to share with not only paraeducators, but any classified staff member who was interested. So I would like to thank the district for sending us. I would like to encourage any other CSEA members in the future to attend. It's not just for paraeducators, it's for anybody working with our students. At our last regular meeting, we discussed changes to our Delta dental insurance. There has been a small drop essentially in the monthly cost for what is currently provided for us. We will not be paying less, but we will have the opportunity to pick up more services. So at our meeting, we sat and we discussed as a group which ones would potentially be the most beneficial to our members. Some of those things, it's a very, very small percentage, so we can't make any major changes, of course, but some of them would be like having an additional cleaning a year, to increasing what is covered for orthodontics for our children from what we have now, which is $500 to $2,000. I know that would be beneficial to a lot of families. For our site reports, Bethel Grove reported how much they're enjoying the new chairs in the library. The students love them and think they're very fancy. At Sherwood, it was reported that the students were very excited to be working on their young authors fair books. The staff is due to watch the kids go through the process of learning to tell a story and writing it down and illustrating it. It's one of our favorite events of the year. This year we have an author visiting from San Francisco. Her name is Emma Bland Smith, and she is a wonderful author of children's books. She writes on everything from a dog that was part of like a fire rescue. She concentrates on local stories, so a dog that was involved in a local forest fire and how it helped its owners, to the albino alligator clawed at the California Academy of Science. So we're very excited for that. I wanted to let you know that Classified School Employee Appreciation Week is fast approaching. It is from May 19th through the 25th. This year's CSEA theme is Empowering Generations, which I think is a wonderful theme to focus on this year. We have many generations within Willits Unified. I myself was a student here, I work here now, and my children attend Willits Unified. During this week or at any time during the year, we would love for you to take a moment to encourage and thank classified staff member for their hard work and dedication to their students in Willits Unified School
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay, Brandon said he couldn't be here, and so I don't know if anybody else is here that wants to speak in WTA? No? Okay, then we go on to the superintendent's comments.
Hey,
I'll wait to comment.
Bad time to log in.
Is it?
No, I mean, as soon as you guys get up.
We were just talking about me, okay.
Mr. Beebe?
Okay, all right, I'm up. That was gonna be Amy's turn. It was really good for spring break to kind of happen when it did. Staff and kids were getting a little bit tired and needed a break, and so I'm glad that they got a little 10-day break. And got recharged for our last kind of run of the year. It's about 8 weeks left. So, exciting time. It's always exciting.
They just plug you in to recharge you?
Yeah, well, I was gonna kind of get to that, but, so, it's an exciting time. It's always nice when the sun breaks out, especially for somebody like me who likes to see the sun. I think we're moving in the right direction. I see a lot of smiles. I see a lot of people that are kind of recharged, and we still got a ways to go. We got some ongoing work. Change is always difficult, but I like, as a former coach of me says, I like my squad. I like the team I got, and we're gonna do some good work. So it's good to see everyone. Good to see the board. Good to see the people out in the audience. I'm relatively new, obviously, here, but I think it's extremely important to kind of state out loud. I tell our staff almost every week how much I'm amazed by their work ethic and about what they do and how kind they are and how kind our kids are. And I had recently had a little bit of a medical issue that needed to be taken care of, and the outpouring of support I got was just tremendous, and it was very humbling. I have a card on my desk that's got about 9 signatures on it from Brandon, who was going site to site to site. So I just want to say to everybody here, thank you for your kind wishes, thank you for reaching out, and thank you for, I tried really hard not to let anybody visit me where I was at, and it was good. It was a little scary, but it was good. I figured out that I haven't been in the hospital since I was 4. So it was 56 years ago that I was actually in the hospital. So it's a good run. So I'm hoping for another 46 or 56. So anyway, to all of you, thank you for all your generous, kind comments, and Brookside staff sent me some stuff and the cards. It was just really nice. And thank you, board members, for reaching out. So I'm back. I'm ready to go. Let's go to work. Let's play. Okay? That's all for me.
Board comments? Jeannie, you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. I've been enjoying attending baseball games and watching the students and watching the coaching and being part of the baseball community. It's been a nice experience for me. I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate, I go to Blosser twice a week to volunteer in a classroom to help students with math, but it's not just that I'm there helping students in one class with math. I get to see the community, I get to see the campus, I get to see the interactions between staff and students, and I get to see students come and go from their classes, and I get to see CSEA members interact with students, and it's a really nice experience for me to do that on a regular basis. I feel part of the campus, and it gives me really good insight as a board member as to how things hum along at one school. So I really appreciate Blossers including me. And a couple weeks ago, I drove over to Orland and attended a California School Board Association budget workshop for rural school members. I feel that I'm paying attention to the state and to the state budget and to the budget deficit, and I think that it's really important to be informed about what's going on and to be able to
improve my understanding of budgets and reading budgetary stuff and that kind of thing. So I got a lot out of it, and this is a specific workshop for rural school districts. I was the only one from Mendocino County there, and I got a lot out of it. So anyway, thanks.
Thanks, Jeannie. Alex?
I don't have a whole lot, unfortunately. I missed last month's board meeting. I had the opportunity to go spend a couple weeks in Austria and Germany, going to basically one of their schools for CTE programs for both adults and kids down to the age of 16, where they teach them to become masters in woodworking, stonemasonry, electricians, basically the hands-on people that make things happen, and how they do it in Europe. It's highly educational, and I would surely love to see something like that in the U.S. because these people, they produce true tradesmen that have amazing skills, but it takes them a long time to get there. It's not unlike going through a college program that we would have here for an engineering, for example. Those folks spend 3 to 4 years developing the skills to be a master in woodworking, and then they spend another 3 years as apprentices before they're able to open a business of their own, for example. And the skills that these people develop are truly amazing, and then they make a concerted effort to continue to build on those skills and pass them on to the youth in their countries. And it's obvious when you see the handiwork, the workmanship in not only the businesses but in their homes. It's dramatically different than what we see in common homes that we have here, the ones that you and I live in, for example. So I had an opportunity to do that, and that was very much an eye-opening experience for me. And so that's pretty much what I got to do. So.
Thank you.
I should publicly apologize to you all, sorry, about not meeting you at the airport, but I was busy. I had a meeting in Long Creek, the day Alex got back, I arranged to pick him up from the airport, right, and I had
Stood me up.
Hey, I stood him up, so he was just sitting there for like all weekend long, he had to stick with me. Apologize, I can't make it.
And then I got the wonderful opportunity to get off the plane after 14 hours of flying back, and then the next day I had COVID. So, lovely experience there. My second round of COVID. It was not as bad as the first, but still was no cup of tea. So.
Ian?
Yes, I've been busy doing other things, but Bechtel Grove Middle School's band had a concert, and it was amazing. They were all in wearing black dresses, or black. They looked like professional performers, and they were so much better than they were at Christmas. I mean, it was. The songs were longer. They were perfect in almost everything. It was just amazing. That was really fun to see. And the Willits High School has a play coming up.
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, on
May 3rd through the 5th.
May. I want to see that one too. Okay. And I think that's about it that I did. Oh, I went to a baseball game with you yesterday.
I too went to the concert at the high school that was housing Bethel Grove Music. That went really well, and the baseball game yesterday was at the high school, and actually that went well too. You know, it was very impressive to watch some of our kids hit home runs, catch fly balls that were really beyond catchable basically, and to steal bases. I was really impressed that finally I like baseball and basketball, so those are the things I pay attention to if we're gonna deal with sports. But usually in my experience, you know, baseball players from the high school don't really steal bases. They just sort of wait around, and by the time the ball's nearly back to being pitched again, they're going, oh, you wanted me to go all the way over there? And you go, yeah. And this time, there wasn't that hesitation. I mean, they just knew. They took off, and they were successful except twice, which is not bad. They tried 4 times, for those of you who like to do stats. Anyway, the high school also has, and I know this is goofy, but I like nice garbage cans. They have very nice garbage cans, finally. And the crows cannot get into them near as well as one would think. Yeah, so that's a big deal. And then don't you think they're hard plastic, they're not metal.
I didn't know where we were gonna put them in, so.
Oh, well, they're there, they've been there
Outstanding.
most of this week, so that's a big deal. And then I went to the adult school. I had an opportunity to go and watch people get enrolled in adult school and to take care of all the stuff they needed to take care of, and to go through this a number of little things. And to get the Chromebook and the homework and all that stuff. And Aurora was really, really, well, we know that she is smart, but she was right on top of things. That was nifty. It was also nice to have Tony Cassidy take care of business. Those two, between them, everything was done in like less than an hour. And part of that was because I was sitting there and they had to talk to me. And so it took longer, And then they had a secretary who knew her stuff too when she was around. So that was really good. And I did have a report on Rip, the maintenance boss, but he's not here, so I'll give it to you some other time. Yeah. What?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Anyway, but I can just tell you, he has taken care of things. I know that Don said some of this last month, and it reminded me that I should have, because last month is when I had the meeting, but I was really pleased that he thinks, well, he says he thinks exactly like I believe about renting out facilities, or not renting, whatever, but loaning out facilities in the district. And I really do hope that we stand by a plan that was what his plan was, which I've heard it a lot. I would love to see it implemented, okay? And so that might happen soon, so that's good. And then he really, it doesn't look like he gets around a whole lot, but he really does. And he has his little lists, which are real nifty. It's kind of entertaining to watch him see a mess and get real upset, and then the next day it's gone, So that's kind of handy. But he knows all the stuff he wants done, and he's where he needs to be to make sure that happens. And it's really, I just found it real impressive. So now you won't hear this next month. And I'm really pleased that you have returned.
Thanks.
So now I'm done, sorry.
It's okay, mine's short.
What do you say? No.
Tomorrow I'm gonna be on a CSBA Zoom on the Supreme Court decision regarding the First Amendment, so we'll see what that is.
From CSBA?
Mhm.
Oh, good, okay.
And last weekend, not this past one, but the one before, we had got to go see my niece and great niece for their birthdays in Henderson, Nevada. My son drove, and it was amazing to get out of Willits and then come back home again. And this is the daughter of my sister who passed away a year ago, so this was really special. I have surgery coming up on my right hand to fix a trigger finger, which I'll be really glad about, because it's the middle finger, and when it gets stuck, I don't want people getting the wrong idea.
Keep it.
Is this finger?
Yeah, pretty much.
This finger?
That-
Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure I knew which one it was.
Well, it's on this hand, and it's the one in the middle.
Okay.
I've been working with, or participating, Aurora's been generous and let me participate in some of the ethnic studies plans and what they're using, and because I got my master's in ethnomusicology, which is the study of music as a part of culture, it brings everything home, because the more we know about each other and understand about each other and share, like food and music and dance and all that kind of stuff, the better we all get along. and the more interesting life is. So thank you for that opportunity. And that's it for me. And with that,
Can I add one thing?
of course.
As Art Under 20 is at the Art Center this
Oh,
month.
thank you.
So,
Tomorrow.
I think it's already there, but they're having the
The
opening
open night?
tomorrow.
Cool.
So anyway, so this month.
Okay, so now we have the action consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Is there any discussion?
I would just like to make 2 comments about 2 of the first reads.
Okay,
I know I'm really bad about that, but I'm paying attention to them. And one of them, 5144, has to do with discipline. And it says, a student shall not be denied recess unless the student's participation poses an immediate threat to the physical safety of a student or to the physical safety of one or more of a student's peers. If, due to such immediate threat, a student is denied recess, staff shall make all reasonable efforts to resolve the threat and minimize the student's exclusion from recess to the greatest extent practical. So the state is taking another tool out of the teacher toolbox, and the times that I've seen students held in during recess, it's been a real positive for the student. The student gets to have a break from all the busyness of a classroom or a busyness out on the yard, and gets to take some breathing room, and it's a chance for the teacher and the students to talk one-on-one. And here again, the state in all its wisdom, I don't think they have any kids. You know, I look at the stuff they pass, and I don't think they have any kids. They certainly have never worked in a school before. But anyway, I'm happy to see that another tool is being removed from the teacher toolbox to help with discipline. Because I certainly don't see kids being stood in a corner with a dunce hat on or anything like that, you know. I mean, it's a positive experience, I think, in most situations. And then another thing, this is also 5144 discipline. When a student has been suspended or other means of correction have been implemented against the student for an incident of racist bullying, harassment, or intimidation, the principal or designee shall engage both the victim and the perpetrator in a restorative justice practice suitable to the needs of the students. The principal or designee shall also require the perpetrator to engage in a culturally sensitive program that promotes racial justice and equity and combats racism and ignorance, and shall regularly check on the victim to ensure that the victim is not in danger of suffering from any long-lasting mental health issues. So I just want to bring up the subject of anti-Semitism in relationship to this reading. And I've seen horrendous examples in the news about anti-Semitism at high schools, middle schools, school districts, colleges, and it seems to be something that's okay with people in certain educational venues, and it's abhorrent to me, anti-Semitism. Just as any prejudice against any group of people based on color or religion or national origin or whatever. So I just wanted to bring that up, that I hope that what it says here, that we apply that to any example, any anti-Semitism that shows up on our campuses, because it's just not okay. It makes me sick. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I have it's kind of interesting, that particular regulation crossed my mind also, a bit differently than yours apparently, but I was real pleased to see that the things in that new regulation, not that it's very new, will be considered a lot more widely than it has been considered in the past. and that's enough. I was also pleased that with our district, there is a policy that will help try to avoid the discrimination and prejudice that goes into hiring and those practices. Hopefully the district, ours is not nearly as difficult to deal with as some districts that forget about the ratio or the populations of their students and seldom, if ever, consider how important it is for those students to have people who look like them, think like them, you know, kind of have an image similar to the one that they identify with, instead of just a particular image of a particular type of professional, and are never able to make those relationships that should be automatic and often are to so many kids. So it's really good in my mind that we have that being brought to the forefront and that people are saying, oh yeah, wow, I guess I should pay attention to that. To me, that's real important. And then there was a bit on migrant ed, which anybody who knows me from 100 years ago, that's always been a really big deal with me, and I was real disappointed that a number of years ago the direction of migrant ed changed, and it wasn't, or actually it wasn't so much the direction as it was the funding, and districts weren't able to have their own programs for the benefit specifically of kids that are generally left behind. And now it certainly doesn't look like it'll be brought back. However, it will look more like, from what I understand, not just in reading this, but from the other.
We are applying for the funds. I'm
I
actually
had
working
heard,
on that
good.
tonight, and because it's due tomorrow, and so working on that tonight and tomorrow. And I'm collaborating with the regional representative to ensure that we are updated and by all, there's a lot of rules and things attached to that, so I'm making sure that we're following everything.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased, which is kind of what gave me the oomph to bring it up, because I had heard from Mark that that was gonna happen this summer, and he was gonna, well, he said the two of you were going to pull a thing together so that it could include, and maybe even include Nuestra Alianza, because, well, the target cluster is pretty similar, and the more money you can put together, the better it is. I'm just glad to see it still sticks with academics.
It's ELA, math, and a cultural component.
That's the part that is,
language.
yeah,
They use the word
enrichment, yes, which is good. I personally have always thought that
cultural enrichment.
that's exactly, and that's in my mind especially necessary.
Kelly?
Just to add to that, we've purposely aligned our special ed summer school with New
At the same
Waystra
times.
because we want to make sure that our kids are included with general ed kids, and so
Good.
I'm gonna meet with them, we're gonna do a lot of aligned activities so that the kids with disabilities and the Waystra kids are all getting the same kind of fun, interactive activities, so.
That's
we're
really
excited
good.
about that.
Yeah, a couple of years ago during the summer sessions for Nuestra Alianza, and very little last year, but at least a little, but more so 2 years ago, special ed, kids with special needs, or however we're saying that now, their summer program and the Nuestra Alianza came together enough that they got to learn some dances and
Oh, it was great, yeah.
it was
That was-
outstanding,
It
it's
was,
good.
yeah.
And I just am glad to see that the state is coming up with making sure people pay attention to what is important as opposed to what some areas think they feel like dealing with and others that don't.
So we have, there's two things. Whoever's gonna see Aurora in the morning, please bring her a nice big coffee. And we need to take a vote on the consent agenda. So all in favor?
Aye.
Who did the second? Oh, this was the discussion.
So we did that, and am I correct in that we came to the last part of it, and all we have left is next board meeting?
Give an approval of an action item.
That
Okay.
would be the action item.
I don't have it on.
Resolution.
See where it says.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Approval of the resolution 2023/24-9, California Schools Healthy Air, Plumbing, and Efficiency Program Governing Body Resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-24-9.
Can you get a second?
I second.
Okay.
Can you explain the scope of the work? Mr. Dean?
Sure. So we're, one of my predecessors signed us up for,
So it's part of the CalShape grant. The
Yeah.
first round was for ventilation. The second round is for plumbing
she's
specifically.
saying,
So by approving this resolution, you guys are allowing us to go for this funds and work with the company we worked with previously. And they're actually the company that got us the funds. And their focus is on upgrading our plumbing, our outdated plumbing fixtures and things like that.
that.
Okay, so we're ready for a vote. We do this individually, correct?
Is this just a grant, or is there matching funds?
This is 100% a grant. It's the CalShape.
We are staying away from matching funds as much as possible.
We're maxed out in matching.
Okay. In that case, all those in favor?
You have to do a roll call.
Aye. Aye. Well, that's what I just asked.
It's a
Roll
resolution.
call? Okay.
That's good. Yes.
Jeannie?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
Paula?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, ma'am.
We have someone asking if you would open public comment for the consent agenda.
Yes. You can do that.
Sorry,
We're flexible.
You can still make it.
sorry. I actually purposely came, after reviewing, the policies, that are on first reading, or first draft, however you want to say it. In agreement with, trustee King, and Nunez, I don't know what the policy number was, that was not my initial plan, but, I think it's super important that, thank you, that, educators, school personnel be trained in assisting the kids in moving from, while we are not removing recess, we're not removing these things, giving the tools that are necessary. In my day-to-day work, cognitive behavioral treatment is really a way to change the thinking patterns and the behaviors in response to things that get people in trouble. I work with the justice system, so as adults, it might be different than what it is with juveniles. But there's simple tools that are out there to help with that, addressing behaviors that are getting youth in trouble for a wide range of things. It all starts with the thinking patterns that justify the behavior that they end up doing, whether it's yelling, shouting, whatever it may be. There's something that's triggering that at a thinking level. And so at School Site Council, I recommended to our chair a game called Playing CBT. Literally, you can find it on Amazon. It's simple, it's straightforward, anybody can implement it, but it's a tool and a resource that kids can actually engage in. It's for the ages of 7 to 14. This is totally not telling you to buy it, I'm just sharing that there's resources out there. Because removing recess really does prevent children from getting energy out and all the other things. Well, it is a good, it does get their attention, it does focus them, I think, even more so now that suspension isn't an option, and there's so many tools, like Trustee King said, being removed. We have to be ahead of the game and be aware of that. The actual reason that I came, which was not that agenda, was for regulation and policy 0450, addressing that school site council shall be involved in the comprehensive school safety plan. Two concerns, and I think it's because it's so vague in the policy and the regulation. It was brought to the school site council, and we very quickly were like, wait, we need to not discuss this, just because of the safety around it being a public item and all the other things. But the policy states that the site council is supposed to consult with local enforcement, the local fire department, on and on and on. And the superintendent addresses the tactical response plan. As a school site council member, I wasn't aware of the details and requirements of this regulation or policy. And I think that if the school site council is going to be asked to do this, there should be some information that's shared regarding what are we actually diving into, because we're supposed to create this plan. And so being that it's requiring tactical response and all the things that we may not know on a day-to-day level as just a parent and just a member of the site council, I think there needs to be more communication about those policies and things. And even knowing what are we approving and what are we creating. We can review the safety plan, but to what extent does it get publicly disseminated? Because obviously, like the tactical plan, as the policy says, shouldn't be dismissed or disseminated out to the public for safety reasons. And so, knowing that that's supposed to be blacked out and all the other things, I'm just asking that we consider wording and expounding on the responsibilities of the school site council to ensure that there's a reasonable approach to that.
So I have a question for you, thank
Yeah.
you for your comment. What
You're
is your
in public
contact?
comment.
Huh?
Trustee Signy, you're in public comment.
I'm sorry. No, I wasn't gonna discuss, I was gonna ask for contact information.
I have it.
Okay, thank you.
Which school are you site council?
It is TK through 5,
It's
so
combined Sherwood, Brookside, and Gloucester Site Council.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, now, items for next regular board agenda.
I would like to ask for some sort of presentation by the school district in regards to restorative justice and how it manifests itself at the different school sites. Since, again, we're losing tools, so I'd like to know what tools restorative, how it manifests in our school sites.
Okay.
Good.
I'm interested to find out where we stand with respect to the idea we proposed 2 board meetings ago with respect to tutoring. I don't know if you have any information you can throw out there on that at this stage of the game, or need to wait until. Now, I'm happy to get that. I just come into discussing with your office or whatever.
Yeah. We have a number of ideas that we've been kind of messing around with and working actually a little bit with Brandon on some of those ideas.
Well, we have, and we've actually applied for a few different grants
Yeah.
to help facilitate that, to help facilitate the, one is a service learning and civic engagement grant, which would be obviously both the high school and going down through the teaching and working with the elementary. The other ones are dual enrollment type of grants where we're creating different pathways, CTE pathways for education. And then the work experience, the lab component would be at an elementary school. And I haven't actually spoken to the elementary school about that just yet because I figured I'd wait and see if we get the grants first. Sorry.
It's on our radar. Fun.
Yes, we're trying to figure out different ways to facilitate, fund it, and have it as a solid learning experience for both the high schoolers and the
Like a
learners as
child
well.
development pathway.
ECE.
We do have a
Early childhood, either way.
early childhood at Sanhedrin, that we're developing, and then, it's both campuses, both secondary campuses that are working on that.
That will be the class that they would take that would become the tutoring campus. That's the goal.
I love it, that's what my degree's in, I love it.
So, moving pieces.
See?
Yep, well,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I would like to have us discuss either in closed session or at a regular meeting about the district policy or site policy. My understanding is that all schools do not deal with restorative justice, even though that was something that years ago had been considered, to be the thing that the district was gonna do. So if maybe we could discuss whether that's still ongoing, or if some schools do one thing and some schools do something else. If maybe we could get some info on it. And I had something else, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, okay, and I'll call someone if I remember whatever else it was, because I had 2 deals and I only remember that one. Life is tough. Sorry, kids.
Anything else with that? No? Did you want to speak?
No, I just wanted to come because it's been a while since I've been here.
Okay, cool. Chinkis does. So, can we vote on adjournment or no?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Somebody second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Only 13 minutes.